Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomizer run on the FF66 channel. I am Saberwolf. I'm joined in the booth with my favorite commentator, I'm going to say, because, I do have my favorites. It's Dwaya. What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Fantastic. 3K Discord members. How exciting is
Yeah.
that?
I mean, it was just it seemed like just a little while ago, like we were mentioning that we had like 2,000 or 2,500, and now we just hit a 3,000 Discord milestone. And not only that, but I'm looking at the Twitch right now. We're at 1,800 and almost 60 followers on Twitch. That's 140 away from 2,000 followers on Twitch. So it's just insane how fast this community has grown around a probably one of the best Final Fantasy games of all time.
Not only one of the best Final Fantasy games, but, and maybe this is a little bit of bias, one of the best Final Fantasy communities out there.
But just not even Final Fantasy communities, like one of the best communities. I've been around so many different communities with Guild Wars and APB Reloaded and Counter Strike and World of Tanks and so many other communities out there. And by far, I've never seen a community so well knit together with no fights, no picket fights or anything. It's just everybody just works together on a collaboration and just helps each other to just learn how to play the game and just develop from there. It's really, really great. But we are 2 minutes away from this special edition of FF6 Worlds Collide, the 3,000 Discord member celebration community race. And we have an interesting flag set, just a specially tailored flag set. Also, shout out to Drinks Glue, who is working the background with us as well. And also our elite executive Muggle in charge, Ravlin, who's in charge of our entire community. So we have an interesting flag set if you want to run down it really quick for us, yeah?
Okay, so some of the highlights of this flag set is it is going to be a Mog and Realm start, only a 2-character start, and it's those 2 characters. It is also a barter shop seed with shops at 50% set at 3K. The racers will start with 30K gold. Unlock will be 7 characters, 9 espers. KT skip will be 9 characters, 12 espers, and 21 checks. It is normal UL flags aside from that, although they do start with 5 warp stones and 5 phoenix downs. Am I forgetting anything?
I mean, there's a couple little tidbit things. I mean, we're basically running UL kind of Moogle Cup things, stuff. It is 355 for the experience gain, 2K, 2 on the regular scaling, 45 for max scale. So the scale's gonna be a little bit higher than usual as our runners have kicked off right now, as a Thundering Herd of Basset Hounds right now, as I like to say. But yeah, of course, we already know we are starting a Moogle with a Moogle in a realm. The 2 shortest characters actually in the whole game. I thought that was kind of cute how that's the 2 starters we have here. You did mention barters. We have that. All pretty much all the crazy good items. So we are anticipating with our runners. By the way, we didn't introduce our runners here. Sigil, Jex Varrock, Nobody War, and Jesus the Frog. Sigil is an has been a really strong racer in our community over the past about year. Nobody War has joined this community about the same time I did, about almost 2.5, 3 years ago. It's insane how long we've been here now. And Jesus the Frog, they've been here about 2 years. They've also been a really good runner. And Jex Varrock, last but not least, are in the upper right corner. They are actually our chaos randomizing guru. They love to run a lot of chaos, like crazy seeds, stuff like that. A lot of grindy kind of seeds like that. That takes about 2 to 3 hours to run through. So really strong cast of runners here for this. Sigil actually taking a little peek, see what the Terror reward or Yamaru reward is. Actually, they're gonna go do the Mog, the wolf check here at Mog. Wow, my brain is not working. I just woke up from a nap. um, and they're actually, and Mog is kind of cool because he actually has 3 checks. It's a triple check because he also loops in the Kefka Narsh check, which is also at the top of Narsh. So they're actually going to be able to get 2 or even 3 checks up here and get a grind fight. Don't really have the weapons and armor right now, so it's kind of interesting how fast Sigil is actually going up here to check this out.
It's interesting because it does give you information. So Sigil now knows that whatever's at Kefka at Narj is not a character. It's either going to be an Esper or an item. So he can kind of put that in his back pocket. And speaking of
Wow.
characters, there is another child character. It's like
Yeah.
we have the short brigade tonight.
Where are all the parents? Oh, actually, the parents actually.
Oh,
Sad part is, oh yeah, the parents kicked all these kids out. I'm sorry, that was a bad topic right there, wasn't it?
yeah, and
Uh,
Sigil chooses Gao over an experience egg. Ooh, that's a tough choice right there. Gao's nice, character is nice, but experience egg.
yeah, Experience Egg, also nicknamed the Win Egg. Magitech Morph, he's all about the Terra skills here. With the reduced bad skills being available for this run, we actually are cutting out the Possess, Health, Runic, Steal, Sketch, and Capture. None of those commands are available, so the chances of Gao having a really good command, plus the fact that he actually gets 2 commands, really makes Gao a high possibility of being used, and Magitech definitely gonna have that chance ability.
For sure. Now,
And
we
oh,
kind of
dried
didn't
meat.
mention because dried meat's always nice. I did see that there was an Atma weapon in Narsh. So while
Yeah.
that's not really useful right now, they do have that in their back pocket for
Mm,
later, along with the earrings and the shops that Jax just found.
yeah, earrings and hyper wrist, that's really all you need. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much. And with everything being 3K, I mean, that's pretty cheap sometimes for earrings. But you can also find a lot of good armors and weapons that normally would cost a whole lot more. And it's going to be
oh.
just 3K.
Okay, so Jax also found Super Bowl. Sigil found enhancers in the Narsh weapon shop, which Realm can use. So Realm
Oh,
with an enhancer is amazing. That's +9 magic power, I believe.
nice.
So that's an insane weapon for her to be able to use because we nicknamed her the Murder Child because her magic power is the highest of any character in the game. I don't think we buff the character stats at all for this run. I'm not seeing that in my notes. Oh, it's 100 to 125, so pretty much basic, slightly increased stats. So yeah. Oh, circlets too. That's amazing.
Yeah, no kidding. Um, let's just find some Minervas and some big sticks, and we'll just go to town.
Yeah, even. Oh, and that's a Esper only costing about 1,200 gold there. It is a Crusader Esper there for Jesus the Frog. They are the first one on the board with an Esper.
Nice. Not an Esper that we'll probably see cast at all, but depending what's on it,
Hey,
it's gonna be nice.
hey, I had to cast I had to cast Crusader to get out of a boss fight one time, which was insane.
Yeah, that's like a 1 in a million thing that you're gonna have to do. So one thing we didn't mention is in the background we do have other racers running this. We do have Cerise Rose, we have the Real Chatius, we have Golden Shocker also running. So just because they're not on the restream does not mean that they are not in this race.
I'm sorry, +7 on the sword, +7. Since you're going to the World of Ruin to pick up that experience egg that we were talking about beforehand, kind of worth it. Does count as a check, interestingly enough. So if you actually go to the World of Ruin, or even the World of Balance for a Locke's Weapon Shop alternate check, they do count as an extra check, and it is 21 checks for skip. I believe it's nine characters, 11 or 12 espers, and 21 checks for skip. So that does count towards the skip count.
That's nice. Now, Sigil has Gao. Has he found the meat yet, or is that in one of the places up and coming?
That was on Nobody War screen. I don't know what town that was when he found it, but I did see dried meat pretty
All right.
early on. So this
So
is not a bad fight. It's an okay fight. Interesting starting abilities, by the way. I don't think we mentioned the starting abilities. We pretty much have Mog's ability set. Realm has Mog's dance, and Mog is actually a natural jumper, along with Edgar being able to naturally use all the spears in the game. So Mog actually going right straight to the jump command. Really, actually, pretty good at command. Actually, oh, that's he's replacing his fight command. So he actually has Dragon Boots, but but yeah, I mean, Mog being able to use all the spears naturally, it's a better command than usually his dances are.
yeah, We find a dragon horn, and Mog's gonna be jumping all over the place.
So Jesus the Frog is really actually the first one really starting our run now. Sigil did that detour to the top of Nars, but Jesus the Frog is actually doing our first real check here. It's probably our best option with doing the Ozer's Mansion. This gives us some grind fights. We have these little individual fights we have as we work our way through the mansion. We know when the fights are going to happen through these paintings and like that. So this gives us a couple of levels before we actually get to the boss fight at the end.
Nice. And then Nobody War is taking his grind fights in the Figaro Cave to take advantage of that healing spring that's in there. So that is a nice play right there. Nice place to grind.
Yeah, it's a nice place to grind. The only thing I have against that kind of play, though, is that it doesn't really get you anywhere. Yeah, it's going to get you levels. Yes, it's safe, but you're not really progressing the actual run. Like where Jesus Frog, not only is he getting his grind fights in, he's also progressing the run. So he's actually getting to an actual check or goal here.
Yeah, it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, because if Frog's grind fights are really nasty, then it would definitely be a detriment to that check, especially at this level. So it's really kind of a roll of the dice, so to speak. Imagine that in a randomizer.
Yeah, it is a bit of a roll of the dice. But we know Jax for Rock is probably going to be the best one standing here right now because they did buy a bunch of Super Balls
Oh, and we love our
early
Super
on.
Balls.
So yeah, I'm surprised Jax has not done a dragon here yet. We are only about 8 minutes into the run. So Jesus the Frog actually kind of early in that. Usually the first 10 minutes of a Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collect run, you're pretty much just looking for chests, looking for items and stuff like that. Now we do have barter shops, so all the items are going to be 3,000 gold, and the shops are completely 100% randomized with a 100% stock. So we could find Illuminas even in the shops, I believe. So this
True.
could be anything in there at a barter price. So like we did with the Super Balls, could be anything.
And Jesus the Frog is rewarded with a lock. I like Locke as a party character.
Yeah,
He
that's
has
another
a
one. That was a double check, so that's cool.
Yeah, and he has a good equipment pool. Um, so you find a big stick, he's a natural user, unless
I
he's
have a
got
weapon.
rage, unless he's got rage. We haven't seen what he has
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, for those out there, the reason why we're saying rage, there is a vanilla bug that's actually within the game itself that prevents Atma weapon being used on a rage ability user. That's not something from the Worlds Collide in. That's actually a vanilla bug in that cannot be patched out. And so we actually patched that. We actually just patched a blocker that if a character has rage, you cannot use Atma weapon because it is a bug. So
All right,
even if it's terror or lock, you just can't use it.
let's see what's in the weapon shop under lock, and it is an Esper. It's a Bismarck, and was that another egg?
It was another egg. We're making omelets here for between Mog's check and Locke's double check. So the alternate spot, though, however, we're not going to be able to get there unless we have Terra because Locke's alternate check. It is in the World of Balance in Narsh. However, it's behind Terra's snail check. So it is. We're gonna have to get Terra before we can get that experience egg.
Yeah, but with that check, without Terra being guaranteed, unlike the Mog check, you almost have to take the progression, and that always feels kind of bad because you really want that egg.
Well, I know our restreamer is very sad with Glue here as Yamaro gets taken down here by Jex for Rock here on this check. Sigil does pick up the Esper at the Thief. It has an Ice Shield dead check there for Realms check, so it looks like our path has to go through. Well, no, not necessarily, because Locke was there in the Ozer's Mansion. So it's either we get Locke at Ozer's Mansion or we get Gao at the top of Narsh.
That's
Because
true.
we know
We
what all
haven't.
our rewards are now. Oh, so, yeah.
Well, we haven't seen Moogle Defense. We don't know
Moogle
if it's
Defense,
a
yeah.
Moogle Defense.
Which could be could be another character like I did yesterday where I had not one, not two, but three characters on the triple mod check between the Wolf, Kefka Narsh, and Moogle Defense. Each one of them had a character.
I think
By the
what
way,
would have been crazy mean with this seed is if
3%
they're
chance.
what?
That was a 3% chance of happening.
Well, and it happened.
Yeah.
What would have been really bad though is if this would have been Kafka at Notch required with only 2 characters. How terrible would that have been?
Yeah.
It looks like we're getting a dragon fight from Jesus the Frog. I like this, especially if he has some Super Bowls.
Well, he does have a couple Espers under his belt, so this will actually help them learn any big spells here on Espers. And also looks like he has the Curse Shield equipped on their Moogle, and that's a bad opener here. We didn't want to see Stormy here on his opener.
No.
So lock does go down. I don't know if they're going to get locked up here as a second Gale Cut comes through.
Oh,
that's probably going to be a
gross.
white. Oh, no, we're good. We're good.
Come on, Murder Child.
Yeah, so Locke's just going to have to take a plank nap because, we're on the stage. There's no dirt here. And, yeah, we're just going to get through this fight.
Actually, this reminds me, since we're seeing the stage, I believe right now, with the Mobliz Chronicles and the connections that was placed in that, I believe if you post your results for that, you could be entered into a drawing for an Ultros Opera scene painting by Nobody War.
Yep, Nobody War, who's one of our runners, is currently taking up a little bit of artistry as he's in the Italian peninsula now where he lives. He's an Italian stallion now. He is actually doing a painting of Ultros, and I guess that's the ability that you can get if you make sure you check out our chronicles. It's kind of our newsletter for our community. Tells you what's going on, what's coming up next, and highlights some of our active community members around our group. So be sure to check that out. And it's actually done by our resident restreamer right here, Greeks Glue. So please check it out. And also in the current events thing, we do have a community event coming up here the first weekend of August. We're going back to Gaming for Hope Gamers Against Suicide event. It's one of actually it's my that's my baby actually that I take care of. It's going to be the first weekend of August, raising funds for suicide awareness and prevention. We're being welcomed back with another Super Bowl relay race. We currently have 2 teams of 4 interested in this event. Will hopefully be the closing event. So it'll probably be on the Sunday of August. So it'll probably be August 3rd. Will probably be when we're going to run. So be sure to check that out. It's a great cause, and we're glad to be back for it. Oh, and we're actually going to feature that event on July 1st. We'll be doing that event right here on FF6 Worlds Collide at around 8 or 9 p.m. Somewhere around there, July 1st, this coming Tuesday. So be sure to be back for that.
Absolutely. And even further on current events, something that's near and dear to my heart is we do have our Moogle Cup 4 signups going on right now. And as soon as we get 16 members, we will be kicking that off. So I am super excited. You and I, Saber, along with Glue and several of those that I see in chat, like the Schwans and Turdsman, are all mentors for the Moogle Cup. So if you ever are out there and you want to learn how to play this and also make some great friends, join up for the Moogle Cup 4.
Yep, and for Moogle Cup 2, Dwaya was actually my mentee, and she definitely fit right into our community. Is actually one of our community managers now. So you were a great pickup for our community, and I'm so glad I was able to be a mentor for that event. Me personally, by the way, a little bit of bragging, I'm 9-2, guys. I am 9-2 as a coach. So if you want a good coach, you want to learn how to play, that's me. I got the best record. This red, so be sure to check it out.
Okay, well, back to the race before we start, beating our own drums a little bit further. We had an Esper on the Velt under Gauss check that Sigil got. I believe it was Raiden. And then we've also seeing here at Moogle Defense that it is not a character because we see the Moogle sprite, but it could still be an Esper, and that is a thick Baba down there at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't mind Moogle Defense because you do get 2 extra NPC kind of Moogles that join your party. So instead of taking this check with only 2 characters, like, I guess you could say like Terra's Pumbaba check, where you kind of get stuck with 2 characters. With this check, you actually get 4 characters no matter what. Now, you don't get the experience, and if you're doing experience splitting, it does hurt you a little bit. But in this situation, it's actually really helpful, and we actually get Coopop has shock, which is amazing. Um, so we actually are definitely gonna be able to get through this fight and crack Pow up. There goes Plumbubba for Jex for Rock.
Nice. Good to know that we're going to be seeing some shock, possibly on one of our characters if we find the right one.
I believe that's supposed to be Strago. Don't quote me on that.
I won't.
Because the Coopop and Cooptalk, sorry, is I believe replacement sprites for actual characters in the game. I think that's how the algorithm works. So they just swap out their sprite Moogles that's supposed to be actual characters later on. I think that's supposed to be Strago. I'm not 100% sure though.
Well,
I don't think. Oh, Sabin, hello.
ooh.
Ooh.
What was on that Sabin? I did not see.
Oh, it's Sabin's by far Sabin's best ability you could have. What would it be? You could put any ability on Sabin. What would it be?
Uh, aside from his normal blitz, I guess I would put Sword Tech.
Exactly. It is a sword tech Sabin.
Ooh, nice. Well, now we're gonna definitely want to find Cyan to get that Sword Tech unlocked through the Doma Dream Check.
Yeah. We also have Magitech available too, I think somewhere. So hopefully we can find Celeste, my girl. I know your girl's Terra, so. Ooh,
That's okay.
Mogul down.
I think we can join hands and agree that they're both the best girls.
Okay. Just a real little recap here. Sigil, 4 characters, 2 Espers. Jax, 2 characters, 1 Esper. Nobody War, 2 characters, 1 Esper. Jesus the Frog, 3 characters, 3 Espers, and a dragon, and just picked up this fight as well. However, I believe this is a... oh, wait, no. I think Yamaru's in the air, actually. He jumped. Yep, he did. I was like, wait, where did Yamaru go? He's in the air. He's in the sky. He's Super Yeti. But yeah, 3 characters, 3 Espers, 1 dragon. I believe this is the Yeti's check, which I believe is a dead check. I shield. So we're just going to remain at that juncture. But yeah, Sigil's doing something new now. We haven't seen this. Camp.
Ooh, that is not exactly a fight that you want to see. Sigil is running as he probably should.
Yeah, I mean, Brachiosaur's cool later game. Not this early though.
Yeah, if you can't kill it, then it doesn't give you anything except for death and sadness.
Yeah. Oh, this is not a great fight either. It is if you have armor ignoring or magic ignoring damage. Okay, 12. Okay, so they do have 12. Blood spires, I think they're called. They have Bloompire. They have insanely high magic in physical defense. They are weak to fire, I believe, but even then, they only have 12 HP. So I mean, they just have insanely high defenses.
All right, so we know by the sprite that it's going to be either a character or an Esper here in Imperial Camp. And then we also have Jex. We're going to get to see what the reward is for Kefka and Narsh. And then down at the bottom, Jesus the Frog is doing something completely different as well and doing a Phoenix Cave dive.
Well, I mean, if he has Super Balls and Breakables, and he's pretty kind of... I would say that they're in the lead right now, especially if this is a character at the end of this. They could get yet another dragon under the belt to learn even more. Oh, that's an ice rod right there. That's a perfect pickup now. As long as it's not ice dragon, because the dragons are randomized too. But yeah, I mean, this is a huge play. If this is the character at the end of this, plus the dragon loop in, Frog is definitely going to take a big lead. By the way, Jex for Rock, fighting Marshall and Fortis here. A little weird this is a weirder fight.
I mean, it's not the worst that he could be paired with. Double Arm is annoying with that 2-hit attack that they always counter with, even when they die. But it's better than, say, like, Retainers.
Oh, yeah. And he's better than the Retainers.
Yeah.
Or the whatever the samurai forum samurai with the zombite. That's even worse,
Orogs.
actually. Yeah, or Orgogs, yeah.
Ogor. Ogor.
Ogors, yeah.
Ogor.
Uga. Uh, oh, yeah, the ones that zombite you, those are horrible too.
I mean, we could add the girls that waist shake you too. Those are pretty bad. Yeah, that's a pretty tame martial fight. Not gonna lie. We'll go with
Pretty
that.
good. Okay, so you do have a dragon horn available for Jax for Rock as well with their dragon boots. So they're gonna have to stick. Unfortunately, gonna have to stick the Moogle Charm on somebody else. Oh, nice game logic right there for Jesus the Frog, using the kind of the save gimmick. If one of your teams is on the save point, you can actually use a tent or sleeping bags with the other group by X switching to them or Y switching to them. I remap my X and Y buttons; they're backwards.
But yes, it allows them to kind of use the save glitch and cure up the party that's not on there. Skull Dragon is not a bad one. We've got rods that we can use against it. Not the most dangerous dragon out there.
Yeah, it's
So
only
the
dangerous if it uses a sandstorm attack or something like that.
Yeah,
That's not too bad.
but I think both of their characters have shields, and if that is a wind attack, then wouldn't that negate that?
Yeah, pretty much, and it's Crack Pow that goes down. Scully, I think, is probably the weakest of the dragons.
Yep.
Weak to fire, I believe, too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was good. So we're gonna learn a bunch of stuff. I saw Flare Float, Ice 2, Fire 2 learned. Another Atma weapon.
Ooh.
So definitely have all the tools here.
And we're getting a Barren Falls play by Sigil, and I believe we had a Coliseum play by Jax. However, I did not see what he was getting for it.
Oh, Sigil got the Yeti in the
Oh.
falls.
Oh, will he keep the Yeti in the party?
Probably not. I mean, we have Magitech Gal, we have a jumping Mog, it's Murder Child, and a Sword Tech Sabin. I mean, it's not. But it's Sigil. I mean, we are talking about Sigil. They will try to use the Yeti if they can. Yeah, they're going to kick out the Dragoon Mog.
Oh boy. He did that for the fans. You know he did that for the fans.
Oh yeah, he did it for the stream. But Jesus the Frog, dead check on Phoenix Cave.
Oh, and that is
Another
why
ice
I'm
shield.
doing Phoenix Cave. I will fade that till the end of time.
That's what you call making the plays not being rewarded for them, as our as our character's indicator has been switched over to the Yeti now. Thanks, Blue.
Very appropriate. Yeah, that is. You know, it's either always Phoenix Cave or it's never Phoenix Cave.
Yeah, so it looks like so the pathing is right now is through Gao, which is at Wolf, through the Serpent's Trench to get Sabin. And then Sabin is probably right now looking like Collapsing House. Because we know Yeti's dead. Or is not a character.
Yes. Did we see what was in South Figaro Cave through the lock check?
No. So we don't know what South Figaro Cave lock is. We don't know what Sabin's train check is. Obviously, Mel Cole's, because everybody hates it. It's one of the worst checks in the game, in my opinion. And we obviously have Collapsing House. So
this is a nice, easy fight on Sigil's part. Unfortunately, Revivifys aren't as cheap as they sometimes are in regular seeds just because of the barters.
Yeah.
So we probably did not stock up on them. But X-rays are pretty easy to beat.
Yeah, as long as it's not one of those weird scaling ones where they just zombie your entire party. But we did get those Revivifys back from that. We got 3 of them, so. Oh goodness, chicken lips. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, this isn't a fight. I don't believe they can get the sprite from this fight because there's too many enemy characters.
Right. If there's five, four, I believe it's if it's five or well, I can't think of any more than five, but it's just five sprites of monsters on the screen. It will not. The sprite won't pop up. It has to be four or less.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that bomb ring that you see. As that's the only one I think that's more than five. I could be wrong.
Is there six in the bomb ring? I thought that was in Final Fantasy IV.
I think there's six in this one.
There's six one? Oh, there's also six rats in this one too, actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, moving on.
Welcome to our Sesame Street counting portion of the show.
6 bombs. And nobody
Today's
wars just
number is two.
Ugh. Brought to you by Ultros League.
Brought to you by the letter 4.
Anyway, Nobody War is having terrible luck on the belt. Saber, we're gonna get fired.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to come back.
Oh,
and it's Fish on a Train.
Hey, this is a special event, y'all. We're celebrating 3,000 Discord members, and if you actually want to join the party on our Discord, it's ff6worldscollide.com/Discord, or click that link that's right now in our Twitch channel, the http discord.gg, which is our permanent link as well.
Let's just get that one step closer to the 4,000.
Right, so what we got going on here is Sigils right away from Fish here on the Phantom Train. I believe that was not a character. Since they're doing the train, I'm going to assume that was an Esper. Jex for Rock it's hard to tell with the dance command. It's hard to tell sometimes where they are in the battle screen because it does change the background. Okay, they are in Ozer's Mansion. Nobody War has taken the plunge into Serpent Trench. That is going to give them the Sabin at the end of that, so that's going to be a different welcome sight for them. And Jesus the Frog is actually going into World of Ruin Narsh. Now, we know this is not a character, so we are pretty much fishing for Espers here for Jesus the Frog. Although, it looks like they're backdooring this, so it looks like they're going to go after that experience egg, which was the alternate reward for the wolf check here. But this is the longer path, I think, to get there. I think it's faster going through the secret entrance.
Oh,
well, we get a gauntlet for a problem, so you know what? I'm just going to shut up now.
Well, I mean, yeah, Gauntlet's great. I think it all comes down to kind of muscle memory. If your muscle memory is better for this path, then this path is probably faster for you.
Yeah. Oh, he picked up the spirit saying he left Gal behind. Okay. Okay, cool. Oh, no warp stones. Oof. Okay, so
No, they should have warp stones. They start with 5.
Fortunately, it looks like Frog's taking the Walk of Shame back out. Guess they didn't see that flag set, because this flag set is a combination of Ultras League meets some of our draft flags. The most popular event that we ever had in FF6 Worlds Collide history, what really propelled us through the viewers on YouTube, that got us to the 1,000 YouTube viewers. Now we have over 1,500 now. The event that populated all those was the Blackjack Battle Royale tournament, which I would love to see come back. It was one of the most anticipated weekly tournaments that we had. Everybody would just clamor on our Discord on Sunday mornings to get ready for the one round. We only drafted one round, and everybody would be jumping on at like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning for a noon o'clock draft. So it was really probably one of our best events that we've ever done.
Well, it's one of the events that really showcased the versatility of this randomizer. You can do so many things with it and change so many different flags, and I think that really showcased that.
Yep, and I believe we brought back the draft event now that the Chupon bot, this is our newest bot, because one of the bots the race bot was retired, and I believe it was the person that designed the race bot is no longer supporting it anymore. But we made our own bot called Chupon bot, And part of the upgrade with that bot, I believe, was we have new cards and new flags that was added to that bot. So if Blackjack Battle Royale does come back again, we're gonna have even more cards to choose from. It's basically, when we say cards, you draw from a set of 3 or 4 cards in your hand. You pick one and you submit that card for your flag set for your seed for your group. So it was a really great event. And Taco Maze, shout out to Taco Maze, she was in our chat as well. They were my co-host for the weekly highlights and previews of each of the finals rounds for that event. So, shout out to you.
All right, and Sigil is doing a Mount Colts run. You said it was probably one of the worst checks. I don't mind it, but for some reason it does get faded very easily, and it's probably because of this screen right here with this dang spiral.
Yeah, let's put in a 4-directional game, a diagonal pathing, and a 4-directional game. Yes, thank you, Squaresoft, for doing that. Also, the other part what I don't like about this is that 1 out of every 6 times I do this, it'll only give me a reward. The other 5 times it'll be dead. So that's the other reason why I don't do this one. Oh, so what Sigil's doing here is it looks kind of weird. Like, it says you can't run away, can't run away, can't run away. What they're trying to do is they're trying to prevent the Yeti from attacking there, because if the Yeti attacked there, it would cause the girl portion of the painting to use an ability that's going to cause a degenerative condition to everybody in the party as a counterattack. And by using the run away command, which is holding L and R on your controller, it prevents the Yeti from hitting it so that you don't get hit with that ability. So. Wow.
That is a nice use of Morph with that Magitech. That was a 6.5k Fire Beam, I think.
Yeah, so Morph increases your stats, particularly your Vigor and your Magic Power stat, I believe. And also, the Magitech abilities, the Fire, Ice, and Bolt, is kind of equal to the level 2 version. So it's basically Fire 2, Ice 2, Bolt 2 versions for that. And it's basically a free cast. So by going into Morph mode and casting that ability, that's insane damage, especially with Fire being a weakness to that check for Chad. So
Exactly, and let's see what we get for it. We get a Shadow!
Wow, you know what? I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna walk away now, guys. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Well, you did say it was like, what, 1 in 6 times? Well, this is the one time.
And we get Realm's dad with lore on Shadow, which Magic Shadow is really good.
Okay, so this begs the question then. We're 35 minutes in. Sigil's at 6 and 3. Do you do floating continent?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, before you finish the question. Yes.
Okay,
It's almost mandatory you have to do it because it's guaranteed 2 rewards. You're already at 6 characters. You have to do it. Because you don't want to get stuck later on, late game, having to do floating continent. It really stinks when you have to do it that way. And yet another dead check. It's a Valiant Knife, but it's another dead check for Sigil.
That's true.
So
It all depends
and we
on
also
who can use it. Nobody. Nobody
yes,
can use it.
yeah, nobody can use it. And so now we know that the character pathing is Serpent Trench, which is where Jex Rock is now. Jex Rock and Jesus Frog are actually both now. Getting Sabin at the end, and then Sabin into Mount Colts, which is where Nobody War is. So we know that's where the character pathing is.
Yes. So, going back to the floating continent, the nice thing is, even if it is 2 characters, one at the start and one at the end, for Sigil, 8 characters is skip. So it's kind of a win-win either way.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And that's another reason why you probably want to do floating continent, because you can guarantee probably get 1 or 2 of that. But I mean, I know some people are like, oh, it's like you want to avoid floating continent, this and that. But the thing is about floating continent, yeah, it takes a little bit, but you got to think about it. You get 2 guaranteed rewards. You get a free heal. You get 4 boss fights for scaling. There's a lot of upside for floating continent. And when you think about the fact that you got to go to this location, you got to go to this location, you got to go to this location, Floating Continent's one location, and you get 3 rewards, 2 of which are guaranteed. So, I see upside, especially when it's done earlier on the game versus later part of the game. So, I would love to see it right now.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to be seeing a Tritalk Dragon play on Sigil's part.
Yep. So try touch dragon into Yeti because they also have Yeti in the party, so this is gonna be a triple check. This is also fine too. You're not gonna get the 7th character. We are needing 7 characters, 9 espers. So we'll see what happens. Now, Nobody Ward does pick up their shadow now. We'll see if they're gonna add them to the party or not. It is a lore shadow. They do start with, I believe, 5 to 7 lores. So it is a good chance they get a decent lore on them. Plus, like I said before, Shadow is great magic user. As the doggo block with a counter with interceptor does scale on magic and earrings. So you can have a doggo counter for like 5,000 damage for like a free attack damage. So, oof. And this dragon not being very nice to Sidra right now.
Oh no, Goldie's not a very nice dragon. This one and the blue dragon are really the ones that are the most dangerous, I think.
Yeah, Bluey and Goldie probably the hardest 2 of the dragons, as another Bolt 3 comes across the whole party. Jack Frog gets their Saban now, so everybody has Saban on the board. So it looks like we're progressing now through.
Hopefully Sigil hasn't forgotten that he needs 7 characters, because that is a little different than normal. Oh, that's another experience egg.
Okay, we have a 3-egg cheese omelet now. Going on the Yeti. Okay.
Well, we have 3 eggs
nice.
for all the runners. Sigil doesn't have lock yet, so he does not have the potential experience egg from the weapon shop check.
I didn't get a look at those espers. By the way, all our runners have 3 espers. Jesus Frog actually has a 4th one. I didn't get a good look at the espers. That Crusader has Doom and Mute. So that's actually 2 of our spells that we need for Final Kefka. When we get close to Kefka, we'll talk about it. And oh my goddess. Hello.
Oh my goddess is right. Unfortunately, that Yeti might be detrimental since Sigil can't control it. He could trigger the love token.
Yeah, but it would trigger onto the Yeti itself, so the Yeti would only punch Yeti here, since everybody else is actually using spells and abilities, so it would only hurt Yeti himself.
This is where we make the joke of, stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself.
And there's the love token, but I think we damaged it enough to where I think we're going to be fine. As we do find, his frog does find there, Yeti Zombo goes down there on Nobody War doing the camp check, and Dex Farok is currently in the Veld about to feed a dried meat to a ghost, because, you know, that makes sense. Yep, and Sigil does get through the fight, so we're good.
Jesus the Frog picks up his Yeti, while Jex picks up his 4th Esper.
Yeah, Cure 2, okay. Not terrible.
We have one that has Cure 3. We also have one that has Life 2, which is the best Cure spell in the game.
Yeah. Not wrong. And such a new information for us here on Touch. That is choked. We're going to have Doom, so that's not... The Esper itself's not terrible, but we'll see what it has on it. And Collapsing House here for Jesus the Frog. That's an imp holding it up, so we know that's going to be an Esper or item.
And are we going to get a Katana Soul? No, we get a Spectre.
Man. It's okay. No, free hyper risk for Yeti. I mean, that's fine.
I mean, that's true, Turdsman. Merton is a very, very good cure spell, too. when you have the
Burn.
fire shields.
Well, yeah, when you have a rage ring or or fire shields, yeah.
But he's right, it is an incredible heal spell.
By the way, not a great fight here on the falls here. Air Force, really one of those sleeper bosses that can really get out of hand if the scaling goes crazy. That is an Esper though at Yeti though. So that's a double Esper Tri-Touch Yeti for Tara's dad, Madeline.
Yeah, and with an experience egg from the dragon, that's a very lucrative mountain climb.
Yeah, definitely.
Inferno.
Ooh. Yeah, not so much the boss though here. Inferno,
Eh,
not a great boss for Yeti. Great boss if he had steel commands, but steel commands are disabled, so it wouldn't matter anyways. Because this boss is great for steel because each of the limbs in the body, you can actually get an elemental shield off of it. So this is one of those fights you want to see it if you have steel. If you don't have steel, you really don't want it because stuff like this happens and it really hurts.
I mean, this boss is... We have Fire Beam, or Bolt Beam, I mean. This boss, outside of Kefka's Tower, isn't that bad, especially with that Morph Magitech gown with double earrings. Not too bad.
No, not too bad. So we do get, so Sigil does get the Madeline Esper, Jex Farok does pick up the Yeti, Nobody War here at the end of the train here, and Jesus the Frog is going to pick up our fourth Ice Shield dead check of the run.
Oh, that is so gross. I mean, dead checks are one thing, but if you get good rewards from it, you don't feel so bad, but just the ice shields, yeah, they're fun to crack, especially on Final Kefka, but not what you want to see.
Here's the dumb thing. We actually have improved dead checks on here. There's Illuminas available. There's Ragnaroks available. Getting not one, not two, not three, but 4 ice shields? Like, what is this? Is this Doom? Is this the Doom seed from our Magi tech or our Magi tournament right now? I mean, come on.
Well, apparently the seed did not get the message.
No. So our runners are kind of repositioning here. Looks like Frog and Jex Frog are both in World of Ruin Narsh.
Sigil is going to be doing a Velcheck play. This is an interesting check, is that it is considered peekable. It is the only check where if the Esper is a reward, it will be an actual Esper sprite and not like a ghost or a merchant where it could be either or. So he can get a good look at what it is. If it's a character sprite, it'll be a character, Esper sprite, Esper, merchant sprite, or ghost, or imp, it will be a dead check. So if he wanted to, he could just reset out. He's also checking these monsters in boxes with the hope of finding the Katana Soul to go with that VK.
Oh, poor Wolfie. I love Nobody War. Like, he doesn't get in the airship and just hop over the mountains. No, he does the long walk around the mountains. And he goes from Phantom Train to Falls here. I love that.
I mean, it's two
he's one of the
less
only ones that does it
transition.
too. So.
Well, it's 2 less transition screens,
Yeah.
so it probably makes up for the walking time.
Yeah, I mean it's a wash. It takes the same amount of time, but yeah, it's awesome. It's great. By the way, Jex for Rock, a couple of notes here for some of our runners here. We do have Jex for Rock with Genji Glove Double Atma Lock here for Jex for Rock's side. So I think that's probably the hardest hitting character we have among all the parties we see on screen right now. Besides our morphing Magitech beaming Sigil, nobody else is really utilizing the morph ability except for Sigil. It's definitely working.
Well, it's definitely working for him too. Guardian, not a super fun boss, kind of beefy, but again, we're gonna do that morph bolt beam for another 6.5k, if not a little bit more.
That's really
So,
insane.
yeah, that is insane. And I love to see it. Yeah, 7.2k. That is really what you want for this beefy Guardian boss.
Jax Farok finding an economizer somewhere, slapped that onto their spellcasting realm.
Now we just need a good spell to use with it. You know, if we can find an Ultima, with the amount of ice shields we have, if we could find Merton.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we run into Doom. But Jax Farok and Jesus Frog both fighting Goddess here at the top of the hill here for Narsh. Nobody where gets through that. Yep. Um, looks like nobody was going to do the collapsing house here, which we already know is a dead check. Sigil did pet the dog, so Sigil is going to be the official winner at the end of this, unless our other runners find a doggo to pet.
I mean, he also kept the Yeti in there, so Sigil is definitely doing it for the fans.
Well, Sigil's doing it for the fans, but Sigil's actually winning right now with the 6 characters, 5 espers. Jexy, Nobody War, and Jesus the Frog, all with 6 characters, 4 espers. Nobody War, the only one that has not done a dragon yet.
Well, unfortunately, it was Gogo at the Velchek spot, I believe. So Gogo has 1 check under his belt, which could be an esper. I think Sigil is going to have to do Floating Continent.
And I called that, but I mean, I called that like 10, 15 minutes ago. You probably should have done Floating Continent, like, now. Because
No,
that's
yeah.
going to give you at least 2, probably 2, maybe 3 espers.
Yeah,
Off of
because
that
he's
one
gonna.
check. So, and now he's going to do Collapsing House. They're also going to find this dead check now. So, no path gain here for Nobody War Sigil.
Yeah, I think between Nobody War and Sigil, it's gonna be whoever jumps into Floating Continent first.
Also, Jax Farok and Jesus the Frog 2, they're actually going to, now this is a double reward. This is going to be Esper at Tritoch, Esper at Yeti. If they go down to the Yeti. Jesus the Frog going back to the save point now as a safety save procedure here. Mute Berserk, by the way, on the Esper. It's not bad. It's definitely utility spells you on that show. They're going to safety save there, and they're going to go back in, so they're going to get another Esper. So Jax Farok and Jesus the Frog are going to be ending up at 6 characters, 6 Espers. So they're actually going to leapfrog Sigil and Nobody War here for the lead, as Nobody War is going to take a side tour to the Opera House Dragon.
Quite. Even though the tracker doesn't say it, Sigil does have 7 characters because he has
Oh,
Gogo.
he has Gogo. Okay.
He does.
as our restreamer clicks the actual real screen, not the tracker screen.
That was not the cursor you're looking for.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Oh.
I love it.
Yep. So, but yeah, so our runners are pretty much crisscrossing applesaucing right now. So we just want to let everybody know that we do have this fish crush applesauce right now, as again, Nobody War is doing the dragon here. We are getting our espers there for Jax Farok and Jesus the Frog right now. And Ice Shield again right there for Sigil.
All right, and we've got 2-1 Inferno right now. I think, like we said, Nobody War fighting the dragon. Sigil's doing a little extra shopping. Not sure what he's looking for right now. Probably some big sticks, if I had to guess.
Yeah, probably from big sticks to breaking. I mean, we kind of need the... Although we really don't need the offense, I think, at this point. I mean, we pretty much got everything we need.
We do. However, I don't think Sigil has found the other Atma weapon, so he can't break the damage cap. And while a morphed Gao with Magitech is really impressive, being able to break that damage cap in multiple ways, or just even in one way, is really going to make the final Kafka fight faster.
And there we go. There's Sigil going up to a floating continent. So we're going to see what this floating continent's going to entail as Nobody War's actually go. I think it's Ozer's. This is an Ozer Mansion play for Nobody War. It is a dead check, I believe.
No,
So
Owzer's is lock.
Oh, Nizer's lock. I mean, sorry, my bad. So Owzer's lock, which is going to give them an Esper at the weapon shop. And I don't know if we've done something okay.
We have. I want to say that it was an Esper.
So that's 2 Espers, okay. So possible decent pathing here for Nobody War if they do that.
I think this is floating continent required.
I do too, and that's again another reason why I would do floating continent 15 minutes ago, because if you do it, you still get 2 guaranteed rewards. If you don't do it and wait till late game, now you're getting rewards that you don't need anymore. Like if this is 2 characters or something like that, now you're overloading on characters. You're wasting extra time. You're gonna get your pathing that you needed 15 minutes ago to get the Espers that you want to get to the end game. So.
Yeah, but unfortunately, only Sigil and Nobody War have Shadow right this second.
Yeah, and Shadow, again, was at Mount Colts, which, again, was not one of those checks that a lot of people like to do. So this could be a while for Jexy and for Frog here to do the Mount Colts route.
Alright, so Jax has his lock. Yeah, of course. Doing the Phoenix Cave, which we know is an ice shield. So this is going to be kind of a longer check for nothing. And this is going to be a real feel-bad moment for Jax, unfortunately.
And I would say what's our check count is right now, but I think we're going to pretty much hit it with all these dead check ice shields.
Yeah.
So I think skip is going to be automatic at this point. So we're looking at statue switches immediately. Whoever gets the 9 Espers required here as Sigil. Again, ooh, that's a Toilet Atma. That's not something you want to see leaking.
Oh, I don't know. It's a Toilet Atma, but we've got a Morph Magitech Gao. It's not going to take long.
Yeah, it's not going to take long. The fear with Toilet Atma with later game scaling is that Toilet Atma can use any ability in the game. Like, they could literally do Fallen 1 into Meteo and just wipe your whole party.
I mean, that is true. That is always a terrible thing to come up against. However, hopefully we're going to get lucky here. And we did.
Yeah, it looks like Jex Farok doesn't look like they're going to go for the. Oh, they are. Okay, they're just they're running through the spikes, but the healing on the backside of it. Okay.
All right, so moment of truth. We're going to see the first reward for Floating Continent, and it is an Esper.
Yeah, Esper. So again, the first and the last checks are automatically a character Esper. It's the middle one that you don't know what it's going to be.
Well,
So
I'm sure Sigil is probably hoping for Esper.
It's probably going to be a
Esper
character at the end.
It probably will be, and that's not a bad thing, because otherwise he's only got a go-go check left. No, because he hasn't went and got his lock yet.
If it's... Yeah, he didn't go to Melkos for lock, so... I mean, after this, without actually looking at their tracker and just going from memory, I think that they could probably do... I'm trying to think, what else could he do here?
He has to do Owzers for lock if this is not a character at the end. Or if Go-Go is an Esper.
Or this could be triple Esper Go-Go character. Which would be really bad, unfortunately, for Sigil.
Yes and no. 8 characters would give him skip. But...
worse would be Go-Go into dead check, forced Ozers to get lock. That would be worse.
I mean, okay, based on the algorithm though, more than likely he would choose Owzers over Go-Go just because Go-Go has a higher chance of leading to a character.
Yes, because characters lead to other characters.
Yeah, so all of our runners running this are pretty smart and pretty savvy about how this randomizer works. So Sigil is probably going to know that.
Definitely. And this is the whole thing about Floating Continent. Like, it does take a while to run through the entire map. But you also got to remember, you're basically running one dungeon for 3 rewards. Versus, like, doing Terra's Esper Cave, or doing this Phoenix Cave that Jex Rock's doing. You're doing that whole entire dungeon, you're only getting, like, 1 reward. Versus this, you're running through a dungeon that's, like, maybe 1.5 times that, but you're getting 3 rewards, 2 of which are guaranteed. So this is why I think Floating Continent's actually more advantageous than you. Yes, it's probably the longest dungeon, but by the way, note, Floating Continent was supposed to be the end game final fight world for Final Fantasy VI. Before they were like, hey, we have all this extra time. The games actually could be longer than this. Let's just add a second world. Let's make the world end. Let's add a second part of the game. So Floating Continent was actually supposed to be the end boss fight game part. And then they rewrote it to have a whole second world, and then they almost ran out of time.
I am so glad that they did put a second world.
Yep.
Oh, that
Okay,
is
so
a
double Esper.
Palador in the middle.
Yep, so there we go. Now I'm getting rewarded for making calls. Jeez.
So the thing about Floating Continent though is if you get it early enough, then it's a great check. But if you get Shadow late and then you have to go to Floating Continent and it's like about an hour in like we're doing right now,
ding 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 ding.
It just feels bad.
Yeah, it does. And this is why if you want to do the Moogle Cup, guys, we're looking for 16 players, 16 mentors to help you learn how to play the game. Once we get that group of players and mentors, not only will you be able to run and get tournament experience, the mentor will sit with you as you run through the tournament, and you learn how to play the game that way. And these are the kind of plays that you get coached on to recognize your tracker, look for the avenues, and say, hey, I don't want to get caught with this later, let's do this now. And that's the kind of thing that mentors can help you with through the Movie Cup. We're looking for a new set of players for it, so be sure to check that out on our Discord, which you just hit 3,000 members on, so be sure to check that out.
I don't know, Saber, can I go back to being a Moogle? I want to be a Moogle again.
No, unfortunately, you are you're not eligible. Oh, double Atma here. Double Atma boss fight here. That's kind of cool.
Shout outs to I Am Damar for signing up for Moogle Cup. Very happy to see you there. Glue, I'll send you my Venmo payment here in a minute for saying that.
Oh wow. So you pay for your advertising?
It's the only way I can get my name out there, okay?
It's a self-promoter, man. I'm a self-promoter. Alright, so this is going to be another guaranteed reward here for Sigil, taking off the last boss here. Let's see what we got here. Probably going to be character... Nope, it's another Esper. So that is 7 characters, 8 Espers for Sigil. Now, what do you do?
Well, okay. He is either going to go to Owzers or he's going to go to Go-Go. Owzers is probably the correct play.
Well, the problem is with Owzers for Sigil is they got their levels a different way by immediately going to Kefka and Narsh in Moogle Defense. So they didn't do the Owzers that everybody else did to get the early game levels. But it looks like they're heading that direction. No, they're going to the Opera House.
Okay. DM Stewart.
There we go.
What kind of race schedule is involved in the Moogle Cup? It is an 8-week schedule. And we try to be very, very lenient with schedules because we're all adults here. We're playing a 30-year-old game. We all have adult lives. So we try to do as many sync races as we can, meaning that we do them at the same time. But we can do async races where you do them on your own time. It is very schedule friendly, and we try to keep it that way. 6 weeks. I'm sorry. I think I'm thinking Ultros League, which is 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's about 7 weeks if you get through the entire tournament. But yeah, so it's 4 weeks early on to you basically do like a race a week in a group stage, and if you win 2 or 3 of those races in a head-to-head race, the first 3, I'm sorry, 3 weeks, right? So it is 6. So you do 1 race per week for the first 3 weeks, and then if you win 2 or 3 of those races, you move on to the knockout stage, where the top 2 from each of the 4 groups will keep on playing till you get to a final champion. So it'll go from 8 down to 4 down to 2. But if you are knocked out, you'll go into what's kind of a battle royale group, where you play the extra weeks with everybody else, the other 8 runners that didn't qualify for the finals. You guys get to keep on playing, keep on mentoring, and do kind of a group event that way. Where there is nobody knocked out, you just kind of keep playing amongst yourselves over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then you have your own individual kind of group winner in that group. So,
Saber, I'm going to interrupt you. Jax is doing Mount Colts and is about to get his 7th character in
uh
Shadow, and he has 9 Espers. So this
oh
will be
my
unlocked
goodness!
for Jax.
So it's not
Um,
mandatory then for Flying Continent then.
yeah, I thought it was because I thought that they had all done the same checks. However, I think that lock kind of got him out of that.
But yeah, well, but still, it is mandatory lock though. Then to get, yeah, it's mandatory to get 7 characters through lock, right? Because where was Gogo?
Gogo was under Shadow. He was in Velt Cave.
Okay, so maybe not. It's okay. So I guess you
Right?
didn't have to do Flying Continent then after all. But it would help. I mean, you get 3 Espers off. So
Yeah, no, it was worth it.
oh yeah,
Especially because since Sigil is getting his lock so late.
yeah.
Was
So
that? Did he get the unlock message though?
he didn't.
Oh, he only has 8 Espers. Glue. Adding
Oh.
up the Espers wrong, buddy.
So we're gonna say like, wait, they had to do that though. We're like,
I was like, yeah, I was sitting here counting checks. And I'm like, how is this possible? But I guess I missed something. But
because
no.
this one's dead.
Mhm.
Because this was dead.
And
And
Velt
then
is
Cave of the Velt is
Go.
Go. Yeah, you have to do Flying Continent.
Okay, but all teasing and
And we're
trolling
not wrong.
aside, a big thanks to Glue, who is in the background pushing those buttons and
Yes.
restreaming. Could not do this without him because while Saber and I always love hearing the sounds of our own voices, we do miss things, and we would not have a show without the restreamer and the racers.
Is Movement Club still ABC always clobbering dragons? I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely
if
it
you
is.
technically yes. I don't like me personally as a coach, I don't like teaching that way of hey, just grab a bunch of sticks and bomb a dragon. I don't like teaching that way because not all flag sets or runs are going to be surrounding that eligibility for being to do that. Especially like in the current tournament with the Magi tournament that we're doing right now, because the scaling is steeper, plus the dragons start with +6 levels on top of that. So right off the rip, your dragons are like, if you get a couple like espers in like that, the dragons are like level like 16, and you're level 3. So even if you're breaking rods and stuff, it's going to be a little difficult to like go on from there. So I like teaching like basics of like trying to get the grind fights like we saw in this run here. To get the grind fights that way and ease your way into it while also progressing checks that way. Yes, that is the way of doing it, and the way Moogle Cup flags work. That is a strategy to do the dragons and like that. But it's also a little bit of a risk factor because I have seen time and time again that runners will try to dive into a dragon check to try to break rods, and they run into Bluey, they run into Stormy, they run into Goldie, and they get character wiped on each of those chances. And I've actually won a race because of that, because my opponent did that. So again, you just got to be aware of that ability to do that. As Sigil does finally get the lock, does finally get the Esper off the weapon shop for the 8 character, 9 Espers, 2 dragons now. Needed 7 characters, 9 Espers for the unlock. So we are on the stair step of Kefka's Tower.
Nice. Yes. Right now, Sigil has a pretty heavy lead. So in case unless something goes horribly wrong,
Level
we will
52.
probably see him hit switches before any of the other runners. In opposition of what Saber just said, I actually do the exact opposite. If the seed provides, I say go after dragons immediately at level 3, because pretty much anything you use, if you have it, say super balls or ice rods or shields, go ahead and break it, and you are ahead of scaling if you can kill that dragon. So, to each
Yeah, if
their
the
own,
opportunity
it is
presents
what the
itself,
seed
yeah.
provides.
Yeah, if the opportunity to provide it and is going to give you that option, yeah, definitely go do it. But at the same token, like early on, I like to just get your grind fights in, you know. Nobody War going into, unfortunately, into Phoenix Cave, which we know is a dead check here. So they're not going to find their 9th Esper here. Jex for Rock getting skipped there off of that dead check that they just saw there. So now they're going to do Train. I believe Train is an Esper. So they are going to find their 9th Esper off of Train. Jesus the Frog is going to Floating Continent, a 1 hour, 8 minute into the run Floating Continent here. They are going to find their 9th Esper off of this. So it looks like our runners are definitely getting into the end game, at least Sigil, Jex for Rock, and Jesus the Frog are at least. Oh, that's a Kieran with +2 strength. That would have been amazing on saving early on.
Just a reminder, it is not just these 4 runners in this race. I just checked the race room to see if Cerise or Golden Shocker or Chadius have finished the race, and they have not yet. So this is still anybody's game.
Yeah, so
Saber,
yeah,
while
for
you're watching,
restreaming, you can
I'm
only
gonna go.
feature 4. So. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check out the other streamers just to kind of get an
Okay.
idea of where they're at. So take over for me for just a moment.
Yeah, sure. So Dwayne is going to do a little bit of field reporting for us here, checking out our other runners here. Jex for Rock is by far hitting really hard with the double Atmos weapons. Sigil with the level 52 Sabin, definitely has that Sword Tech 7 rather, working for them. And they are currently doing 4,600 damage per swing. So Sigil Sabin is currently our hardest hitting character on our screen right now, as they are the first ones into Kefka's Tower. Once again, Jex Frog trying to get to the end of the train. Of course, the end of the train was the fish check, the piranhas, so this is going to be a bit of a time waster. Jesus the Frog does have their unlock finally. So they're going to be diving into the tower right now at 1 hour 10 minutes 30 seconds of the run. So they're approximately about 2 minutes behind Sigil. So on our on-stream race, it's pretty much a head-to-head battle with Sigil versus Jesus the Frog. We'll see if Jex Farok's Atma weapon, double Atma lock is going to catch up with this. Is going to check that monster box here. It is Katana Soul. That's huge. Katana Soul here for Jex for Rock. That's going to give him a quad swinging Atma weapon lock. So this is actually not over yet.
Oh, that is beautiful. Well, okay, an update here. Golden Shocker and Sigil and Cerise Rose are all in Kefka's Tower. Golden Shocker
Probably
was
too.
fighting Haydn around the same time Sigil was. Depending on which lane he chose to do first, they're either at the same point or slightly different. Cerise was fighting a Dataluma, which is in here somewhere.
No.
That is a Magimaster.
With a Yeti lane. Oh no.
Oh, but we do have Berserk. But Yeti already hit him, didn't he?
This is horrible. Sigil might have to back out of the tower and rerun it. Because Sigil
That
does
is
not
not what
have
you want to do.
anything to fight with Magimaster with that group pairing.
Well, he has Berserk. If he can get that off before the Yeti hits, then he can be fine.
But level 50 Yeti is going to definitely outspeed a level 40 Realm. It's all about the ATP bars if Realm can go faster than Yeti here.
Yeah, it's going to be really
Which is going to be
close.
very, very difficult. I almost... I really don't know how... I'm just trying to figure out how to get around this puzzle. I mean, this is definitely a puzzle. I mean, Realm,
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
it's... Realm got there, but it's not going to do it because Yeti's still going to queue up before the Berserk goes off, and he didn't select Berserk on
He
Magimaster?
Berserked on Realm. Oh,
Yeah, he
no!
misselected, so now it's going to be another reset for them. Daddy Luma here on Jesus the Frog's side is one of the other bosses here in Kefka's Tower.
A very easy
They've been
boss.
also dealing 4,500 to swing. So yeah, Sabin, level 50 Sabin with Sword Tech is amazing.
Alright, I'm going to be keeping the race room open to see if one of the other off-stream racers happen to finish first. Like I said, I do not know if they've done their Magimaster, so I don't know if they're going to run into this same problem. Looks like Realm is getting their Berserk off before the Yeti hits, so I think we might have...
There we go.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
and
but
we're getting an auction house play by Nobody War.
yeah, that's desperation. Nobody War. However, Auction House only has one Esper in it. There's not two Esper Opera House. It's only one. So this is going to be a greater chance of it not showing up here. So hopefully they have enough money, which they don't because they passed on the betting of that. 50,000.
Did not get that Berserk off before the Yeti hit. Ugh, unfortunate.
Yep. So unfortunately, well, I mean, he did get Berserk off, so Magimaster's going here. Oh shoot, no, you're right. So I guess we're just gonna play. Which element are they weak to here?
Well, I mean, that Yeti, I think he's got a... No, he doesn't have a Rage Ring on the Yeti. He has a Gauntlet and an Experience Egg.
No,
I mean,
he just switched it to Rage when you were gone. So it is
he
a
did.
Rage
Okay.
Ring Gauntlet Yeti, which unfortunately, if the Yeti had a V, oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, he was gonna kill him. It was just gonna take a little bit more time than you would want to see.
Yeah, that's okay.
Meanwhile, Nobody War buys a 10k Valiant Knife.
That's worth it.
I bet he'd rather have that Esper. So first statue for Sigil down. He is going to see Data Luma on one side. And then we have not seen what is up the middle lane yet. And thankfully, Jesus the Frog did not have a Yeti to contend with Magimaster, so his realm is just going to be flaring away, and but does not have Berserk. Jax is going to Floating Continent to get his last two Espers. He'll be able to go to the first two checks, and then he could nope out if he wanted to. Jesus the Frog gets through his Magimaster, will be on his second switch, I believe. Oh no, he actually might be on his third because we have seen Flame Eater on his side. My apologies, I forgot that we did see what was up that middle lane.
Sorry about that. I am back.
Jesus the Frog on his switches. I believe it was 117, 19 maybe?
Okay.
Looking away for just a moment.
Yeah, so Frog does pass Sigil with that 2-minute gap there. Does make up the 2-minute gap for Sigil going into the tower first. Does make up the gap here to get into the tower now. Jex Farrak is unfortunately doing a very late game uh floating continent here. Looks like Nobody War doing the same thing. Very late game floating continent as well. However, them being at 7 and 8 espers, and there's a 3 esper check. They will be able to do the Atma fight there before going back to the ship and then jumping back off, then having to do the third and final check on that run. But yeah, Jesus Frog on the first tier of Kefka. What we got here going on here?
We have 3 parts to this. We've got head, long arm, and short arm. The long arm, of course, is the one that's closest to us, and the one that is susceptible to instant death, which is why you see him casting Shoat. It can be petrified, which is what Shoat does. And then we have head, that is the next one that you want to kill. It is weak to fire, and if you don't kill him before the other parts, he will quake your party, and while we would probably survive that, it's never fun to feel the earth shaking underneath your feet. Short arm in the back, really all he does is hit really hard. He does have weaknesses, I believe, to water?
Yes.
Yes, water. I know one is wind and one is water, but I think he's the water one. But that's really not going to come into play as we go up into Tier 2. Your turn.
Tier 2, we have a 4-headed beast here. First coming into the picture there is Tiger. Now, they kind of do some really nasty physical kind of effects to your team. One of them is turning your team into zombies. So you really want to get rid of them. Sitting on top of their head is what we call hits or bluey. He kind of just hits you. If you kill him, he hits 10 times. So we don't care about them. They're the weakest of the 4. In the middle of the screen, there is called Tools. Now, they are susceptible to instant death. They do a lot of casting like this diffuser here. They do a lot of elemental AoE attacks to your team. And last but not least, the Kefka-looking guy there facing away from our party is called Magic. They cast really big spells. Imp is one of them that we just saw pop up on the screen there. So they're kind of annoying, but they are susceptible to mute. So the order of operations here is to instantly kill the thing in the middle, mute Magic in the backside, take out Tiger as fast as possible, which, by the way, is weak to ice. And last but not least, get rid of hits, because hits doesn't really do much to against our team.
And Sigil on his switches. So he will be following very closely behind Jesus the Frog.
Yep, and of course we do have Sword Tech, but unfortunately, we don't learn Sword Tech 8 until we're like level, I think it's like 74 in the vanilla part of the game, which we do carry over to this. So unless we did Doma Dream, which we get the unlock for Doma Dream that way, because it's almost impossible for Randomizer to get level 74 for that unlock. So yeah, don't have the instant kill that way, but we do have Doom available to there. But we do have a finisher for our run.
Golden Shocker finishes the race at 1:20:56.
So the overall winner is technically Golden Shocker for this 3,000 viewer event. Just another feather in the cap for Golden Shocker. For them, as they're winning multiple rewards here currently this year. But we still need an on-stream racer winner here right now it's between Frog and Sigil.
I'm going to try to get Golden Shocker a link for an interview. Quick.
As you do that, we have Sigil currently working on the first tier of Kefka here, well, as my screen gets covered up here, it's just the Frog is currently working on tier 2 with their Sabin, still doing 4,000 damage per hit there across this span here. Dispel coming out here from Magic. They're signaling that Magic is about to go down. And we are moving on to tier 3. As we're working to get Golden Shocker into here, Sigil moves on to tier 2. Now, tier 3 is a two-headed monster fight here. Basically, we have the floating angelic kind of feminine head here. That is called Girl. Now, they have 9,999 HP. Their job is to keep the Kefka-looking character in front of them alive by either casting Life 2 on them or by healing them with Pearl Wind. They do absorb all elements, so really the only way to take them out is by physical damage or non-elemental magic attacks. Like this, unfortunately, Sword Tech all going into Sleep. Sleep is the Kefka character in front of Girl here. They basically, the more damage you deal to them, the more angry they get and the more powerful attacks they hit you with, like Meteo and Merton and stuff like that. Now, when they do kill them, they do cast this ability called Calmness, which is a physical auto-kill ability. So getting things like Golem, Image, the Fenrir like that is our way to get around that fight there. But yeah, Sabin going to town there on Sleep. Calmness does come out here, does target down Lock. Double Calmness does get blocked by Sabin. And we did get Girl down, looks like earlier on. So we're now moving on to tier 4 for Kefka. And in our booth here, we got Golden Shocker in our booth. GG for the overall win.
GG,
thank
sir.
you. Yeah, no, that was a fun seed. It was definitely an interesting one to route around, but it worked out in the end.
I guess the major question is, because we didn't see you on stream, you were off stream. When did you do floating continent?
I was
Or did you
just
have
getting
to?
into it about 52 minutes. So
So,
I had, when I went into FC, I was at 7-4. I came out 7-7, and I went to Amara's check, got to 7-9, and I went straight to Kefka's Tower from there.
so it sounds like everybody kind of did FC really late, which is unfortunate because I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it was required to get all the Espers.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, the only other way that you could have gotten there maybe is auction house.
Yeah, there is one Esper in the auction house. You are right, which I think is how Nobody War got it.
Yeah, so I was thinking you might have been able to sneak it out if you did auction house, if you found Doomgaze, and then like 2 or 3 other things. You could have maybe gotten there another way, but the easiest way to get there is definitely FC.
Yeah.
Well, right now
we
on
don't know-
screen here, I'm sorry to interrupt. We got on screen here, we do have Jesus the Frog here, currently only having 2 characters alive here against Kefka. We do still have Sabin hitting hard here with about 4,500 a swing with a Sword Tech. There's a Bolt 3 coming out of round for another Quad 9. Crack Pow, Crack Pow. On stream winner is going to be Jesus the Frog, 125.12.
GG's, get your GG's in chat for Jesus the Frog. Wonderful race. Came from not all the way from behind, but Sigil was leading for a good part of that, and came back and won it on the restream. So, did that Magimaster in the lane give you any trouble, or were you pretty well prepared for it?
I actually had Berserk from just before. So, like the fight before, I think Amara's fight, I ended up getting Berserk, and then I just happened to have it on Gal, and I sent Gal down the left side. So, the only other thing that I had is I bought 22 Thunder Rods right before I went into KT.
Oh my god. Well, in a barter seed, that's what you do.
Wow.
Yeah, I had like 80 grand, and I was like, well, I knew Thunder Rods were in Jador, World of Ruin, and I only had like Ice 2 and Bolt 2 off of shields, so I just bought Thunder Rods, as many as I could buy, and then I went into K2.
Hey, when they like Dwayne said earlier, if the seed of flag set provides, you use it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my main offense was walk with a strength +2 Esper and Atma weapon. So there were a couple Atma weapons around, and then I found offering from Katana Soul.
There's also a couple of ice shields and experience eggs lying around too.
Yeah, there's like 3 experience eggs I found. I
Yes.
ended up fading a couple, honestly, where I just didn't care about it because I was so stacked at that point.
All right, we are joined by Jesus the Frog. GG's, good sir, for
GG.
our restream winner.
GG's.
Yeah, usual, sure.
Yeah, a on-stream come from behind victory. Actually, you were actually 2 minutes behind Sigil going into Kefka's tower there.
Yeah, I figured I was going to be behind everyone. I'm really glad, Shocker, that you beat me, because if I had won that seed, that would have been terrible. I think I took the longest possible route through this game.
Well, I mean, to your defense, everybody did floating continent pretty late, and it was mandatory to get at least the 9th Esper to do floating continent there.
Only 45 minutes. I mean, I did the early Phoenix Cave play. Phoenix Cave was an ice shield. It seems like every other check was an ice shield or an Atom weapon. Just every single time I'm like, all right, this could be a thing. No. How long did I lose on dry meat check? That took what, 6, 7 fights there?
Yeah, it was pretty rough because you kept getting like multiple spawns on your screen. So
I ran into Marshall again. I had to repeat the Marshall fight I just did. Only with no
Hey.
rods.
hey, at least it wasn't ogre or like retainers.
Yeah, it could have been a worse Marshall fight, but I didn't save before I started there. Otherwise, I would have just reset. But I realized I hadn't saved since I completed that check, so I couldn't reset out of it. I had to just finish the fight.
By the way, comment from one of our fellow runners here in our Discord chat here. Sarah says, I'm going to throw up. So everybody's having a rough time with this run. Sigil, crack pow, will be finishing officially in 3rd place overall, 128.42.
Well, I actually slipped over to Cerise's stream, and I can tell you that right now she has 3 characters on Final Kefka. Mog is at 1 HP, Gao is at 0, Shadow is at 0. So it is going a little rough, I think.
That's rough.
Alright. So I will actually keep an eye on that, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on.
And by the way, this race is not over on screen here, as Jex Farrock just is entering into the Kefka climb now. Nobody were with, I believe, 1 more statue left. So we still have a little bit ways to go here in our on-stream run head-to-head between Nobody War and Jex Farrock. So going back to you, Frog. Now, I take it late game Magimaster is not something you want to see.
No, well, the thing is, I very nearly put Sabin solo left lane. But I thought, no, I just went quick on him. I've gotten 50 MP. I want 1 more 50 MP fight. He's got a better shot central lane, so I put him center. Sabin is the only character that knew Berserk.
Oh.
So I almost made an incredible play and ended up just kind of slowing myself down by about, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute.
Yeah, and the big play there was at Magimaster. That's how you cut up your time. Because Sigil did have Berserk learned on their realm, but unfortunately they also put the Yeti in there, and the Yeti kept hitting before the realm would hit Berserk. As Sigil joins us into our Discord restream chat now, GG2 Sigil, 3rd overall. We're just talking about how the rough Magimaster fight there for you. Unfortunately, Yeti kind of following that up for you there.
Yeah, I hit A too many times my 2nd attempt with trying to Berserk.
Yeah, when you berserk your
Alright,
own realm, it kind of hurts a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunate. That is. I've done that before, and it is a very unfortunate thing.
How about my how about my Sabin almost wiping my team on tier 2?
Yes, I
that's
saw
not
that.
either.
He got zombified, and then he started sword teching your own people.
Yes.
That is not something you ever want to see.
Yeah. Nope.
All right, so I can tell you that as far as the restream runners go, I don't know how you were doing compared to like Golden Chalker or Cerise Rose. For a good portion of the seed, you were actually ahead, and it's only because you did Floating Continent a little bit earlier than other people, because Floating Continent was the key for the espers. So great routing on that. I think that Magimaster just really kind of wrecked it for you.
Yeah. That and I end up checking too many monster in the boxes.
Yeah, and the one that you needed to check was actually in Train, I think.
Yep, Phantom Train, the Siegfried chest, actually, of all things.
Yeah, I wasn't going to check that at that time.
Right,
So,
meanwhile, we have Jix on tier 2, and nobody wore on switches.
I want to say in
my
my
question-
defense, real quickly here, that I did Floating Continent as soon as I could. I got Shadow, I did Gamma Manor, and then immediately Floating Continent. I just got
Yeah.
Shadow really late.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Like, as soon as you got Shadow, you had to immediately do Floating Continent, because by the time you got Shadow, you're already like 40 minutes into the run. You're like, okay, you might as well do Floating Continent. It's guaranteed 2 rewards. And it showed that, yeah, you had to do Floating Continent regardless of this. And I want to ask everybody, officially, did you pet the dog? I know Sigil did.
Never even saw a dog.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw a dog.
I mean, if they didn't see a dog, then they can't pet it, so you can't hold that against them.
I did
I
Fell
know,
Cave just so I can pet the dog.
It's fair.
Which was Gogo, by the way.
Yes, I was mad about that
That's
until
disgusting.
tier 4.
All right, so kind of an update. We had a reset by Cerise Rose on Final Kefka on tier 4, and the real Chatius is doing his statues is on his switches at this moment.
All right, so we still got a bit of a race going here. I know we can't see our other 2 runners in the background, but it is a very, very close race between tier 2 on Jackson Rock, tier 1 on Nobody War here. I guess, okay, so what was your final party group there, Golden Shocker? What were you running there?
So I had Locke with Atma Weapon offering Strength +2. He had probably like 90 or 100 Vigor, so he was doing a lot of damage, like 8k a swing or 7k a swing. Then I had Realm, Gao, and I believe Mog. Everybody else just was there for the ride, essentially. Realm was relatively decent. She had a couple of earrings, but that's pretty much all I had.
Where did you
Yeah, I know.
find a Strength +2 and an offering?
Let's see, offering was from Katana Soul on Phantom Train. And
Phantom
then,
Train.
yeah, I think Kieran.
Yeah, Kieran had the +2 strength
Yeah,
there, which
Kieran
I
had strength +2.
believe.
Was that also Phantom Train?
Yeah,
'Cause that's
Yes.
about the only thing I didn't do.
yeah, I think
I
both
would have
was
loved an
Phantom Train.
offering.
And Jackson Rock is showcasing that with a Genji Glove double Atma offering.
Kind of
here.
Genji Glove?
Yeah, so
that was from
Genji
a
Glove double
chest.
Atma offering.
Yeah, I got a VK somewhere along the way, but I ended up using Atma for most of the seed.
Yeah, VK was from Gal Manor right at the end.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say,
Shocker.
Joe?
And then I think Nobody War bought one from the auction house too.
Oh, yep, that was the 20k item, or 10k item from auction.
Yeah,
Auction house in a barter
Yes.
seed? The madman.
Well,
I
he
think
was
he was the
desperate to try to
Dread
get the Esper. He was desperate to get the Esper. I think he exhausted everything. Floating Continent was the last thing on his menu. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do auction house."
So here's what I want to know. How many people took the Esper from Weapon Shop and how many took the egg?
I took
both.
it. Yeah,
I
I
think
thought
most
about
people
it.
on Restream took
Bismarck.
Esper.
I think everyone took the Esper because nobody wanted to risk the egg behind Terra. But everybody who took Gao at the top of Nourish all double back for the egg in World of Ruin, or vice versa.
I mean, you have to.
When
It's
I
egg.
when I did the weapon shop check, I got Lock at the very end, so I had no choice.
Yeah.
I was gonna go back for the egg in World of Ruin, Nourish, but what I ended up doing was I was waiting for another character that could wear an Atma weapon, and I never found one. So I was just like, Locke's good enough with an egg. I'm just gonna call it good and go. I went downhill from there.
Yeah, but when you see Sabin with sword tech, you're definitely not sad.
Yeah, I got a second
Yes.
egg from somewhere, probably a dragon. So I got egg on lock, egg on 7, HP 100 on lock the entire sea because my first check was Ozer's, so I got that lock immediately. And then yeah, he had bought 9 HP and was swinging the Atma for 8 to 9,000, but no offering, no Genji love. I was very sad.
Well, Jex for Rock's lock wasn't hitting hard enough, so he just berserked his lock with the double Atma weapon swinging. Lock currently has 8,000 HP. Just took a hyperdrive to knock him down to 4,000 HP. And looks like we're starting to wrap it up here with a... Was that a Pearl Proc Illumina swing out of their Gao?
That was a
Crack-
Pro Rod.
Oh, Pearl Rod. Okay, crack pow for them. Fourth place finish for Sexy Jexy there, 137.02.
GG's Jax. Just an update. We have the real Chattius is on tier 2, and Cerise Rose is going up to T4 for, I think, the second time.
So since I got you guys here, and we're gonna bring Jex for Rock as a fourth runner in here, GG Jexy, way to go.
Peace.
GG's.
Now that I got all of you here, just really quickly, you guys have been around here. I know Jex. I think Jex has been here the longest of everybody in this room. So since you're the newest comer, I want to ask you this question: what does 3,000 people on this Discord server mean to you? Since I think you've been here the longest.
It's been a long journey through the years playing this randomizer. That's for sure. From when Atma Tech created this thing, I think I joined like maybe a year or two after Atma created this randomizer, and from having a very limited flag changes to an explosion of insanity for things that you can do with this randomizer. And you know, people are have remained interested over time, which is awesome. And obviously, we are continuing to get new people joining us and learning this awesome randomizer.
Yeah, definitely getting new people joining us, and we're still like expanding the randomizer as we just got a brand new coupon bot, which has tons and tons of features for setting up races and all this other stuff that we have now. So even though we've been around for about 3 or so years as noted, where fortunately takes a wipe there on tier 3. Saris Rose does finish 139.14, so another GG for them as well, for Cerise finishing it off there. But yeah, I mean, we're still growing. I mean, we're at 3,000 people on Discord, over almost 2,000 people on Twitch, 1,500 people on YouTube. But we're not done. We're still growing. We're still growing the community and everything here. So it's definitely great.
It'll never end.
Yeah. You would know because you play all the chaos stuff. So
Oh, yeah. That is definitely my strong suit. After the race started, I'm like, wait a minute. This is Ultras League with barter shops. What am I doing playing this?
yeah, what are you doing? This
I was kind of surprised to see you join the race.
Yeah. After I realized what was going on, I was just like, oh well, here I am. Let's do this.
You know what? It wouldn't have been the same without the Mad Doc, though, and we always need you to do a little cameo race every once in a while.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of Cerise Rose, they are in our booth right now. Congratulations, GG's. That was a very rough Final Kefka. I was in your stream for the last part of it, just to keep the updates coming. So fill us in. What happened?
I'm gonna throw up.
Funny enough, you say that a lot about my own Kefka fights, so I know what this is. I know exactly what happened, actually.
First of all, looking at the time, it looks like if my first Kefka attempt had gone well, I could have been looking at like second place, maybe.
yeah, it would definitely have been top 3, definitely.
And so I feel the need to defend myself somewhat. after a very annoying first Kefka fight, my original plan was to have like White Whirlwind happened, get locked down to low HP, and have True Knight block Calmness. But I was worried I was behind, and I was already annoyed by the first fight. So I just decided to Berserk Lock and full send it, and it worked extremely poorly. And then the second time, I guess Yeti had my True Knight, and then got Calmness, and then Locke got Calmness.
Kefka countered your counter.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is don't use rename cards.
Yeah, I saw that you renamed your, what was it, Realm to 3000, which hats off to you.
I did
for that.
everything I was supposed to do. I kept Yeti even though I didn't really have a great spot in my party. And look what the seed did to me. Although it was great up to the last moment.
Just gonna look along here.
Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide is a wonderful game. You will have fun playing it.
Even when things go wrong.
If you want to learn how to play this great randomizer, we're looking for another Moogle Cup here, Moogle Cup 4 coming up here very soon. As soon as we get 6 runners and 6 mentors to pair up with. It is a 6-week long event where you not only get to actually learn how to play the game, you actually get to get a little bit of tournament experience, and the mentor will sit with you as you learn how to play the game. And also coming up, we do have another event looking on the horizon here, August, the first weekend of August here, starting August 1st through August 3rd. It's Gaming for Hope, Gamers Against Suicide 2025. All donations for that event will go directly towards the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. The event will also aim for raise awareness for the battles that affect many teens and adults face every single day. And next will be our second time we'll be at the event. We're looking to do another Super Bowl relay race. We actually have 8 runners, 2 teams of 4. There will be runners going back to back to back to back in a relay race on a very shortened flags seat set format. And we are going to be doing that actually July 1st, coming up here on Tuesday, right here on FF6 Worlds Collide, starting at around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I don't know if we have anything else going on.
Well, before we stop, I just put an invite out to Chadius to see if he wants to say a few things about the seed. Other than that, we do have a Chupon Championship, which is a team-based race every month. We also have the War of the Magi tournament, which I believe is also a monthly race. I have not participated in that one yet. I plan to, but that is a group of really fun flag sets.
On your idea of fun there.
I mean,
It depends on your
fun flag set, and also Goddess and Poltergeist.
Yeah. Doom,
I feel
on the other hand,
I feel like it's 2 fun flag sets and a poltergeist.
Goddess is okay.
Poltergeist is fine. Doom is the problem for me.
No, Doom's the best. Doom's so
Doom's
fast. and easy.
amazing.
Doom is the best.
It lets Yeti
Okay.
just unga bunga things.
All right. But anyways, that's another event. It's actually a little bit more difficult flag sets there. It's based on the statues of this game, Final Fantasy VI, based on the Goddess, Poltergeist, and Doom. It's really cool themed kind of flag set event kind of around them where it actually disables some spells and actually tweaks the game to have like the death timers from the Goddess ability, or you could have like no fire, no bolt, because Doom is around ice ability, so it's a lot of ice themes like that. So be sure to check that out as well. It's again, that's active every month. So we're coming up at the end of the month, so we'll be resetting here on July 1st.
And then, of course, we have our Ultros League, which is our main event that usually happens, I believe, about twice every year. We're going to be kicking off Ultros League 9, probably in the fall sometime. Always fun. Get put in a pod with skilled players, equally skilled players of where you are. Lots of fun competition, make a lot of good friends, as I have throughout my... Wow, it's almost been a year since I joined.
Yeah, we've been here for a year now.
So other than that, I do not have anything else.
Right, final words from our race winner here. Gold Shocker, anything you want to say before we go?
Just no, thanks for letting me jump into the interview here, and just really excited to always be part of the community. 3,000 members in Discord's a huge accomplishment, so just really excited to be part of it overall.
Definitely is still growing. And Frog, our on-stream winner, what would you like to say?
Just thanks for having the race on. Thanks to Glue for organizing and doing the restream. You guys for commentating, and everyone for joining me in the race.
Always a good time.
All right, Saris, and I'm just going to throw it to Saris, Jax, and Sigil as well, who also joined us in the booth. Anything before we go?
No, I'd just like to echo what Jesus the Frog said. Thank you guys for the restream and everything that you guys do, especially Glue.
You guys want the spiel?
The spiel.
Go for it.
Go for the
Yeah.
spiel.
Spiel.
Anybody here that is new to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, please join us at our Discord at ff6worldscollide.com. There is a link to our Discord. As has been repeated multiple times probably during this stream, we have a wonderful community. We got the Moogle Cup to help you learn this lovely randomizer. Also, give our Restream team and our racers a follow. GG's, and thanks for tuning in.